On this edition of the Sports Desk, we take a look back at the best of the fall highlights. Whether it's Torrance football's historical playoff run or the runners at West who showed that they are best, get ready and fired up because it starts right now. Hello and Happy New Year. Thanks for joining us on this special edition of the Sports Desk, where we are going to take a look at the best of the fall highlights. Let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start with the Torrance Tartars. The Friday nights got a whole lot brighter this fall, and the football team had a historical season, while the volleyball team showed its prowess with a few quick hits and drills to the opponent. But that's not all. Let's see how David Gascon breaks this down.
All right, fans, the Sports has had its eyes and ears on everything that had to deal with Torrance High this fall. We had the opportunity to break down some tape, analyze some intriguing matchups, and highlight some of the most memorable moments of the Tartars. It's ladies first as we fire out of the gate, and we start with girls volleyball. Head coach Nathan Jones and his Lady Tartars finished the season a disappointing 3-21, but there's reason to be optimistic. That number one reason, underclassmen. This team was highly competitive, especially in league play, and a lot of that can be attributed to the underclassmen. There were 8 in total on this active roster, and with the experience they gained this season, we look for them to bounce back next year. So we go from indoors to outdoors as we cover girls tennis. The Lady Tartars weren't ranked this season, but don't tell it to number 1, Kaylee Kubikawa. Kaylee had some fun with North High during Pioneer League play as she dominated them, thus setting the tone for the rest of her teammates. After Kaylee's singles match, we got a chance to check out Michelle Park and Stacy Kim in doubles play. These Lady Tartars quickly dispatched their opponents, and North High never stood a chance as they were swept in convincing fashion. With these 3 ladies in charge, head coach David Fry knows he's in good hands. With 7 new girls in this varsity squad, he knows the bar will be raised for next season. Speaking of expectations, let's go to cross country with the females. During their cross country run at Wilson Park, the Lady Tartars finished a respectful 3rd place in team play. As individuals, Alima Kung and Kayleen Morris finished 3rd and 4th in their own meets. On the boys' side, Drew Sato. Sato finished 2nd in his individual meet as he was followed by his teammate Hunter Johnson, who finished in 3rd. As a team, Torrance finished 1st. With all that running getting you tired, let's cool off here on the links as we cover the Lady Tartars. The golf team was quite the force to be reckoned with this season and quite a treat to cover. These Lady Tartars finished Ocean League play as co-champs, and they were runners-up in CIF state play. They were led by Annie Chang, who finished the season as a 2011 All-American as one of the top golfers in the area. These Lady Tartars have a lot to look forward to next season. So we step out the putting green and we wrap up on the gridiron with football. Coach Hollis and his Delaware Rocket offense ran its way all the way to the semifinals this season. That was led by 2 of the best backs in the area. His number 1 back, Tyrone Taylor. Taylor finished the year 1,521 yards in the ground rushing, 425 yards receiving. In all, Taylor combined for 31 total touchdowns. His best game of the year came against Lawndale, where he nearly single-handedly beat them in a score of 56-47. Taylor's stats for the day, check this out, Fantasy Geeks, 306 yards on the ground, 6 touchdowns. All-purpose yards, 747. Not too shabby. But Taylor wasn't the only back that filled up the stat sheet for these Tartars. Kwok Ho did some damage as well. His impressive game against Santa Ynez in the first round of the playoffs spearheaded that attack. 17 carries, 105 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Kwok Ho had an impressive senior season. 1,367 all-purpose yards and 9 touchdowns. But it was what these guys did on and off the field that left a lasting impression on these Tartars, and we'll soon not forget.
Thanks to David for the wrap-up. The Torrance football team had the foothold on the star quality at Torrance and in the South Bay. They recorded an 8-5 overall record, reaching the CIF semifinals for the first time in school history. Again, congratulations to the Tartar football team. The Tartar volleyball team swept in their matches against Beverly Hills and Centennial. The young team is looking forward to dominating next season. Torrance's tennis team was the only CIF reps were the doubles team of Michelle Park and Sarah Kim. They made it all the way to the playoffs. Unfortunately, they lost in the first round. And the Tartar girls golf team amassed another year with a lot of recognition. Samantha Martin and company really showed they're still the golf dynasty in Southern California. North High's fall season is highlighted by its girls volleyball team. They were on plenty of winning streaks while producing Division I players. Its football season wasn't capitalized by huge victories, as some expected, but it showed an air attack for upcoming season. Ryan Fournier fills us in on the rest of the story.
The fall sports season at North High School kicked off with a variety of team storylines, from highly ranked preseason all-star seniors with high hopes of a breakthrough season to younger, more inexperienced teams looking to find out who their surprise superstars would be to help lead the way. We'll show you the best throws, grabs, runs, digs, kills, and thrills of the 2011 season at North High School. We'll also show you who's heading where at the next level and what players to look out for in the 2012 season to come at North High School. The North football team was coming off a pretty decent season from a year ago, and also returning for the Saxons was big running back Ryan McDaniel, who was in the preseason top 20 big backs on maxpreps.com. Ryan McDaniel has decided to be a Washington Husky for football next season in the Pac-12. Also, coming on for this Saxon team is junior quarterback George Hernandez. Hernandez wasn't expected to be the go-to guy for this Saxons offense, but he had a huge season right here connecting with Michael Jurado, and they needed some life as Ryan McDaniel went down in just week 2 of the season with an MCL injury, costing him the rest of the season. Stepping up in his place was Cameron Emanuel, who on this play pretty much juked out every single player on the opposing team. Cameron Emanuel had a lot of big runs and a lot of big highlights in this 2011 season. Also, look out for Devontae Jenkins for next year, a big wide receiver who will be receiving a lot of passes from George Hernandez. The Saxons went 2-8 overall this season, but Todd Croce is expecting big things to come with his team in 2012. And for the North High School girls volleyball team, they had one of the best seasons they've had in 4 years. Leading the way was senior Nicole Echeverry and also senior Cameron Oles. And big standout freshman Sabrin Roberts, with a big block right there, had a huge year. Mark Pioch was really impressed with his young girls squad that went 19-11, made it to the second round, beating Bishop Diego in the first round of the CIF playoffs. Also returning next year's senior Sadie Fraker, the big setter. Also, Cameron Oles signed on to Anderson University. She helped North High School with one of the best seasons they've had in 4 years. So expect big things to come with Sabrin Roberts and Sadie Fraker for the North Saxons girls volleyball team next year.
Thanks out to Ryan for the Saxons fall highlights. The North football team might have been up without star running back Ryan McDaniel, who's headed to Washington on a scholarship, but they showed that George Hernandez and company can catch and throw this ball, something to look forward to next season. The girls volleyball team ended their season with an 18-11 overall record and notched second place in the Pioneer League. The only 2 matches that they lost were to South. Cameron Oles is the biggest standout from this year's squad. North's cross-country team also boasted some impressive regular season and postseason finishes. The cross-country team was successful during the regular season, with a few runners surprising their teammates and their Pioneer League opponents. Coming up after the break, the South Spartans dominated on the volleyball court again this season. But who was the ultimate player on their squad? Stick around to find out.
Cotton balls. Duct tape. Spoon. Needle. Thread. Scalpel.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
I present to you Algebra 2, Foreign Languages, and finally, Biology. Who among you will step up to their challenge?
Me.
too. Sign me up.
Take on the tough classes now. You need them to prepare for college.
This financial advisor is being accused of committing one of the largest investment frauds in the history of the United States.
I guess we're not going to Aspen. That's fine. You see, I like tennis balls. He likes insider trading. So he's going to jail and I'm going to a shelter. And no, they're not the same thing. Shelters are for good pets that want to be adopted. Jails are for criminals. I've done nothing. Uh-oh. Okay, I stole a cheeseburger once on my dog.